Alright, boys and girls, we are ready for some link pin porn, POV style. Got our gloves, got our pussy mittens, got our bucket of lube. Let's get on it. Alright, you measured your offset. That's in the previous video. I'll link in the comments below for that. When you did that, you were able to find out what your offset was on your trailing arms. This is a chart that came with your spindles, or maybe I just gave it to you for the hell of it. I don't know. But we measured 7 millimeters offset, passenger side, driver's side for Pedro's beam. This is extremely uncommon. You need to measure both sides. I'll probably redo this video the next time I do a set that doesn't have the same offset on each side. But Pedro's was 7 and 7, which is the easiest one to set up. You can see we've got upper and lower torsion arm, and we've got inner, outers, inners, outers. That's what I've got laid out here on the table. This is the way I do it every time, so I don't get it all effed up. Okay? Driver's side, over here. That's your driver's side spindle. Remember, it's the one with for the speedometer hole in it. Don't be a dummy. This side is all passenger side for the passenger side spindle over here, okay? Everything's separate. Put your uppers on the top, your lowers on the bottom. Again, driver's passenger side. Put your inners on the inside and your outers on the outside. I literally do this every time, except I write the numbers down or whatever. But you need to do this so you don't screw it up. And even if you do it this way, you'll probably still screw it up, but whatever. At least make it look good. So what you do, link pin, these are all, this is the Brazilian link pins kits that are out now for the 64, 67 spindles. They work. I call them one-time use only, just because the plastic on these bearings isn't the greatest. Get your, start from the outside. That's going to be the outside part. That's going to be the first ones you put on. Outside, you know, there's going to be 5 of them. Double, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Count them again before you put them on. Plenty of grease. You cannot have too much grease, literally, ever. Lube it up, nice and smooth. Toink, toink. Outers go on, then your needle bearing. Normally, with a stock needle bearing, an original one, it's going to be one piece. Like I said, these are the Brazilian ones. They come in two sides, 2 piece, whatever. Get some grease on your pinky. On your pinky and put it in the stinky. But we're just doing needle bearings today. Get it in there. Again, too much. That's not an option. The more grease, the better. That only takes so much. Stick that on. Okay, now you go around, and I do all of them like this. When I come back in just a second, I'll have all of these loaded up with the outer shims, outside on the outside. Those go in first, and then the needle bearing, and then we'll load up both of these spindles. And I'll put all of that on camera just to show you. But all right, be right back. Okay, we've got each of our upper and our lower link pins for our driver's and our passenger side. I'll load it up with the outside shims, then the needle bearings, okay? Now we're ready to put these in the appropriate spindle. Go over here, your driver's side upper. Get up here. You already got grease all over your fingers. Go ahead and get in there and, oof, yeah, hard like that. Get plenty of grease around this outside part, and you get all. Let this lower real quick. You want to get in there really good. There's obviously grease fittings on these things, but the grease does not go everywhere. It really doesn't. You got to make sure you got grease on everything before you install it. Okay? Take your upper link pin, some of that grease around, and stick it right in there. When you do this, make sure all your shims are in there so that they set into the spindle. See, when they go in there, you get all that grease come out. That's good. That'll help hold everything together too. You can take that extra grease, go over to your other spindle, work that hole, get it all sloppy around the outside. I do each spindle and then move on to the next one. So we're still on the driver's side, upper. Now we do the lower. Clean that off a little bit. Plenty of grease. Stick that in there. It's gonna hit the ground, hit the table. Make sure your shims are all inside so they don't get stuck on the outside. Wipe away the extra grease. Stick it over on this side. And then you can turn your link pins here. Like this. Okay, now you're all set up for your inner ones when you do that side. Get this one real quick. Upper. Make sure your shims are in. Lower. Okay, right here, you can see the shims don't want to go in, so you got to make sure there they go. You push them off to the side. Just pull it over to the side. And then cram it in there. And then you turn it. Okay, both of these spindles are now ready for the inner shims. Get them all greased up. I put more grease on here than otherwise, just to make sure. So you get it up against the spindle there. These inner ones are the most important. This is what sets up the geometry of the spindle to make sure that everything is correct. It's the inner ones. They are definitely the most important. A little trick if you don't have. There's normally 8 shims, right? 8 shims per link pin. If you don't have 8 shims, if you don't have a full set of 32, that's okay. You're probably going to be fine. Measure your offset. Set out your inner ones. Make sure your inner ones are correct. The inner ones are the most important. Those have to be correct. After you set the inner ones, put 2 outers. No matter what the numbers say on the chart, put 2 outers for each link pin. All you need are 2 outers. And then just divvy up what's extra. As long as you have 2 outers for each link pin and the inners are the correct according to the chart, you're good to go, man. No worries. No calling me wanting 2 shims because you gotta have 32. You don't need them. Okay, these spindles are late. So they have stock, an O-ring, and this concave washer. The washer goes on like this way. If this is the torsion arm and this side over here is the spindle. And there's a recess in the arm for that to set into. Make sure you get those the correct way. You do not have to run these if you don't have any. That's fine. Don't worry about it. You're just going to be set up the same way an early spindle is with the drop spindle. But if you have them, run them. Let me know. I give these O-rings for free. I just throw them in. But you put the O-ring on first. Make sure when you put it on that you do not cut it on this right here. Slide it over. Everything's going to be greasy as hell, so that helps. Just kind of work it around. Don't let it get sliced or nicked on that. Throw the O-rings on first. Then the metal. Make sure that's plenty greasy too. You can never have too much grease. Remember that. And they're going to go like this. I can never remember if it's concave or convex. But you want it to match up to what's on the on the torsion arm. So this kind of like cups over that O-ring, and then when you put it on, it mashes up against the torsion arm and helps seal all that up. Because with a drop spindle, you're not going to have your link pin seal holder and all that crap. So this will help seal everything up. Normally, if you send them to me with all your link pin parts and your offset, then this is how you'll receive them. All ready to go, ready to set up, ready to install. So there's your spindles all loaded up. You can wipe down some of this excess grease and whatnot. But these are all ready to install. That's what I'll be doing in the next video here, which will come out shortly. So make sure you subscribe today. Hit the notifications, yeah. But that's it for the link pins and the shims as far as loading them up into your drop spindles. Basically the same process with the stock. Just when you're doing drop spindles, make sure this bolt is towards the inside of the bus. Passenger side, driver's side. That bolt has got to be towards the inside of the bus because your link pins are turned 180 degrees. Other than that, it's going to be similar. You're going to have some link pin dust seals up here and some caps to put on. Next time I do a stock set, I'll go ahead and go through this whole process again, just to make sure you understand how the link pin seals go. And I'll show you a little trick to make sure those are lined up, and your dust caps, how to put those on after you're done, so that they don't come off and that they stay in there. And I will see you in the next video. See you out on the road later on. Bye.